The Wade and Carter Show is a paid programming, and KHFC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibilities for their opinions and guests on their show.
Unrest in Cuba, calling for calm in Haiti, Dems abandon their jobs in Texas, all that and more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show.
It's weather.
Now, before we do this, let's go over the ground rules. Rule number 1, no touching of the hair or face. That's it. Now let's do this.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you,
How
sir.
are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. The Wade and Carter no foreplay weather. We just jumped right
None
into
today.
that. Brought to you by the great folks at Dearland Feed. It is just moments after the top of the hour, 7:05 and 75 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today of 87. I'm going to call it mostly sunny skies, but there's about a 40% chance of rain throughout the day.
A few late pop-up thunder showers yesterday. I think we might see some of that today.
You know, we won't get any more than 4 or 5 inches today,
Probably
so
not,
it'll be a
no.
nice,
We'll be good,
easy
yeah.
day.
That's all we
What is
need.
that helmet?
I think it's a Washington State helmet. I have to look at it.
Nice.
Didn't like the looks of it.
I think this shirt makes me look fat. Wearing an October rain shirt from just one of our ho-hum ALCS championships, you know, for the Astros.
Oh, don't turn into that guy.
2019. We're like the Atlanta Braves of the 80s.
90s. Braves in the 80s still sucked.
Did they?
Clint Ives, good morning. Scott Snow's checking in. Ricky King checking in. Marvin Mickish, good morning to you. Diane Tippett. Amanda Smith King is in. Patrick Strauss. Jeff Finley, Justin Glass, Judge Posey.
Hi, Jeff. Hello, Judge. Good morning, David Brogger.
Janelle Sarles, Rena Scherer, good morning. Joe Gomez. The Iceman is in. Scott Tomko. Lisa Poole, Christina Wise. Morning, Cheryl. Good looking group this morning.
Scott Tomko, I think the number was like, pick a number, was it like 39 years?
Yeah.
He's only like 46.
Well, you know, that's the beauty of those arranged marriages.
The Doogie Howser of marriage.
Chris Conrad checking in. Natalie Mayer, good morning.
I have a
Stephen
feeling
Kidder.
that she got some, Lottie got some,
Money?
no, seared red meat for her anniversary. He's a grill master. Added on
Ricky
to
King says it's not the shirt.
Oh, stop it, Ricky. He added on to his house to provide the proper environment for his grill. That's a true story.
Yeah.
He did.
Jenna West, we're huge in Cabo this morning.
Oh, well, good morning. Here we are big in Cabo. Most of the time, we have good listeners down there.
Bob Watley, Bobcat, good morning to you. So, home run derby.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you make of that? I mean,
Pete Alonso wins it. I think he repeats as champion. But
and bragged, I'm the greatest power hitter on the planet. He did say that.
You're the greatest BP home run hitter on the planet,
Right.
is what that amounts to.
Yeah.
You're not hitting 102-mile-an-hour fastballs from, you know, Rivera or Chapman or
Right.
somebody or Nolan Ryan. You're hitting 68-mile-an-hour meatballs
I
out of the
think
park.
I think that when Yordan Alvarez gets to that realm, they're going to see a whole new level. What did the Iceman say?
He says the man at the grill is the closest to being a king.
Well,
Not
provided
as closest to the king for it anyway.
if he can sit on a block of ice while he cooks.
Here's the problems I have with the home run derby. Was never a huge fan of it to begin with,
Agreed.
just because it's
Contrived contest.
Yeah, and I know the players are having fun; they enjoy it.
Would
That's
you
obvious.
watch a slap shot shoot off? I'm just making this up. We're at 10 o'clock. We're at high noon. We're at 2 o'clock, and you have your own puckster, your own guy. He's got a bucket of those little frozen nuggets. And he throws it down, slap it to the goal. Throws it down, slap it to the goal. You get 3 at each time. The guy who gets all 9 in wins. Are you watching that?
That would be boring.
Okay, but that's exactly what the home run derby is. I'm going to throw you these little soft. I don't even know anything about hockey. I tried to make it interesting.
I do watch to see who can shoot it the fastest, the hardest.
I think that's interesting. That's a skill.
Yeah.
But these guys can all hit home runs. I mean, Gurriel could have hit 25 home runs last night at 68-mile-an-hour pitching. I don't know. It's kind of a, oh, look, the majority of baseball fans aren't very bright, and let's let them enjoy this.
Well, and Coors Field was packed.
And the air is thin.
Not a mask in sight. It was like the Dems who fled the Texas legislature on their charter plane to D.C. No masks in sight, but
Right.
The rest of us have to wear them. We'll get to that. But yesterday's home run derby, and I watched some of it. Juan Soto's still only 21, I think. Hard to tell because it wasn't a Fox broadcast. But they had to split screen it because now the batters are timed. And I don't know when maybe this came about last year. I don't know. I don't remember the last
year.
World Cup or the last.
They didn't do it last year.
Yeah, home run derby.
Used to be got 10 outs.
So now they give you 3 minutes, and then you can get bonus time. And I mean, it's just.
It's like a Jewish honeymoon. She gives you 3 minutes, but
Yeah,
you
you
can
get
some
bonus time. Yeah. But the hardest part of that is the split screen is hard to follow.
Right. Yeah, so like there were times that Alonso had 2 balls in the air at once because his guys just dealing pitches, and Alfonso would hit him when he wanted to. The guy was in a rhythm just throwing balls, and it's once and that's a shot. Oh, and there's another one, and 2 balls are flying towards the outfield at once. You don't really, and the announcers were struggling. They don't really get to enjoy it. Juan Soto he's 22 now, I think.
21 and a half.
23.
But it just and maybe the numbers will show differently. Maybe the ratings are good, but it just needs something else.
I'm glad we got our comments back. What did the long ones there? I want to know.
Jenna West says, as someone who's done plenty of hitting in my life, I feel like a home run derby with subpar pitching isn't an accurate depiction of someone's ability to make contact with the ball.
I agree.
Jenna knows. She played college softball at a high level.
Yep.
And it's not. I mean, it is a spectacle. Let's be honest.
I would pay to watch an angry woman with a bat, no matter what she's hitting. He's home late again. Oh, that's out of here. He's got booze. Oh, no, the booze breath is out of here. Ricky King said something up here that I'm sure was interesting.
Bobcat Wadley says the ESPN graphics were horrible.
She says that was a great.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going to scroll up to see Jennifer's Juan Soto. Would you like me to do that for you?
Yeah, I want. You know, it's like the commercial was saying.
They showed it with Judge about hitting the little league pitcher and knocking the pitcher and nicking the ball over the fence.
Yeah. Aaron Judge, big man. Aaron Judge, kind of the punchline of the Astros dominance this last week, even though they
weren't dominant. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Appreciate the feedback. Did you ever get any feedback?
Axe throwing.
Yes, that would be good.
That would be good. But
in the face.
Steve Kidder says, make it interesting. Give extra points for Pop and the outfielders. Yeah, that's something else. Can't they find kids that can catch a ball?
Right. Well, they can put them out there with no gloves and then pay them a college scholarship.
Well, they might as well because they're not catching anything. But the MLB is one kid getting a fly ball in the head away from a huge lawsuit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When little Billy ends up in a wheelchair from getting hit in the orb.
I mean, that's almost like watching NASCAR and MMA.
And letting kids run on the track.
You see those kids running around out there trying to get the balls. And you're just like, oh, you're cringing because you know one of those kids is going to take one in the face.
Yeah.
Soon.
And all they are is like players' kids or
a lot of them,
kids.
Yeah. Which makes you wonder. These kids are actually somewhere along the way it clicks.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Dusty Baker's kid Darren, I think yesterday got drafted again. Remember that was the one that JT Snow scooped off a home plate in the World Series
Yep.
10 years ago or 20 years ago.
When he ran out there.
Ran out there trying to be the ball boy and with the Giants and was standing at home plate as two or three Giants were coming around to score. Jenna says, I thought about that last night. Do they have medics on standby for that? They all look like Scotty Smalls out there.
Yeah. You're killing me.
But I don't know. Is it something, I mean, is it salvageable? It's kind of gotten like the 3-point contest a little bit, the NBA All-Star game.
Yes, which Larry Bird could still win.
Probably. When they started, it was kind of cool and interesting, and now it's just kind of,
It was for guys that couldn't dunk.
Exactly. Guys that couldn't play in the paint, now nobody can play in the paint. All they do is shoot threes and 80 shots a game.
It's crazy.
So I thought one interesting thing that kind of got lost in everything is Ohtani had to lobby Major League Baseball that once they pull him as a pitcher, he wants to stay in as a hitter. And I think they're going to let him.
It's supposed to bat leadoff in the American League and pitch. Some of that, I don't think, is he the best at either in the American League? Is he leading the league in anything, really? Home runs?
He's leading the league in home runs, I think, yeah. No, I think he's very good as a pitcher.
From? Japan?
Yeah. It makes you wonder if he went like Babe Ruth and focused on one, how great could he be? But I like the fact that he's doing both. Keep it going as long as you can.
Well, if you can be my number 2 starter and my 3 hitter, I'm going to leave you doing both.
Okay, King says they had to stop the Derby to get one of the kids off the field that got hurt. I didn't see that.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, with a ball, or did a bunch of kids just trample them trying to get to a ball that they couldn't catch?
It started boring me.
And ESPN, of course, is going to tout it. Record-setting home run derby. There's no official records.
I want them to set it up like the USGA. I want the winning score to be 3-2. I want they have a machine.
Extend the fences.
Yeah, have a machine that simulates Nolan Ryan, one that simulates Randy Johnson for the righties, and there you go. It's throwing at you about 105. Every now and then it comes up and in. How many are you going to hit now, big dog? Superpower hitter.
Backs you off the plate.
Yeah.
Although it was funny, Ohtani was getting pitches. He a couple of times the guy throwing the bat, BP to him was kind of getting a little bit out over the plate, and he told him, he goes, he wanted it back inside, and he started hitting him. So.
There's some kid hurt his leg. No, that was Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor was in right, took a TKO.
Jeffrey Fonzie says he saw a kid take one on a kneecap. So
there you go.
Better there than the head.
If you take one on
the
kneecap,
walk and limp the rest of his life.
If you take one on the kneecap, call Allen's Wrecker Service,
578-6300,
or the law offices of Steve Kidder. If somebody does you wrong, stand by your man. Reach out to Steve Kidder. Steve Kidder can help you get back on the legal track that you need to be on. If you're off the road, call Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. The VCS companies, I'm using my pink Rocket Oilfield Services and VCS companies glass today. Tumbler. It's a tumbler. Reach out to VCS for all your surveillance, security, all kinds of needs, whatever you need. You want somebody to help you with fire suppression at a new restaurant or a new school. They do tons of work. Cat 5 wiring, all that good stuff.
Your home.
Or your home. Sure. All the stuff. Alarm systems are one of the main thrusts. So are Apple and Samsung products at the AT&T store, the only locally owned or authorized AT&T retailer. Chesney Furniture, 101 years, downtown Victoria, 50% off.
They've got best recliners. The brand is named Best, and they live up to their name. They're awesome.
Tell them Wade and Carter sent you and get by.
Get 50% off.
Yep, 50% off. 101 years, 70th location, 116, West Juan Lynn, corner of Juan Lynn and Bridge. And then Veracruz, today is pre-Caldo Wednesday. Go in today and have a taco salad, so tomorrow you can eat the corn in your caldo with no guilt.
No guilt.
Beautiful place, beautiful staff, beautiful people. Veracruz is the best Mexican food in town.
So Cuba is now blaming the U.S. for their
It's our
protests.
fault. It's got to be. It's Trump's fault. Trump's fault. Those people want to be free.
Well, it's Biden's fault because the sanctions that have been in place haven't been lifted yet. But of course, it's the U.S.'s fault. It's never communism's fault. And you can bet AOC and the squad will certainly find a way to blame the U.S. for Cuba's problems.
Yeah, and the U.S. clearly doesn't care enough. That'll be the next narrative. We don't care enough for those people down there. Let's go help Cuba rein them back in. Yeah. What
Well, they're
Cubans
blaming
gonna
the
do?
U.S. embargoes on their shortages of food,
Well, they shouldn't be communists right off our coast.
But I mean, I thought everybody there was educated and had the best medical care in the world.
That's
So
what we
what
were
is the
told.
problem, right? I mean,
Everybody's got their own missile.
and if communism is so great, why can't they just grow all their own food? That's all they would need, right? The government owns the means to all the production of everything.
All
So
you
they
have to
should
do
be
is
able
work.
to take care of all of the people.
Yep.
Who would be producing all of that for all of the common good.
Who even runs Cuba now?
Castro's brother.
I thought he
Yeah.
died too. He didn't.
I don't know. I thought maybe, but no.
What's
Who
his
is it
name?
now?
Yuli?
President Miguel Diaz-Canel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Still, I mean, he was probably appointed by, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. He's a communist.
I
But
don't
the
get
U.S.
it.
is to blame.
It's
No, communism
America's
is to blame. The fact that you've taken every dollar probably ever given to that country in some sort of effort of aid and pocketed probably 90 cents on every dollar,
fault.
hid it away somewhere.
Scott Tonga says they have some pretty good ball players from there. Scott, you
It's
would
running
know
away
too,
off
but
the island these days.
you can't believe the stories of guys literally making infielder gloves out of cardboard, and they just use it. That's why they're so good. They've trained themselves. America has developed training devices that mimic what the Cubans and Dominicans have used for years.
Interesting
just to
enough, we
get
had
by.
lots of that back in the 50s and 60s
Yeah.
called sandlots.
Yes. But I mean, those kids will play with a piece of cardboard duct taped to their hand just to take the sting out. And if you're a second baseman, you're fielding that with that cardboard. That's why when you give them a brand new Rawlings glove with
They
their
have
name
no
on
clue
it,
what to do with it.
they just deal. You know? I love watching the double play ball when the shortstop will come over and kick and trap the ball against the back of his glove. Never even lets it get into his
No.
glove. Just traps it against the back, flips it.
That's some talent right there.
It's talent. It's fun to watch.
But reports this morning, I heard that police were not just standing by watching the protests as they were supposedly officially dispatched to do, or that was the official party line. There are reports that police are shooting protesters. There have been some looting and rioting.
Well, I don't think that Cuba has the leadership at ground level that we have here that would say, under no circumstances can you fire on these people. These are American citizens. In Cuba, it's like
It's like you're
they
going to go
lose
down there and
their-
you're going to do whatever you need to quell the masses.
right, and that's a shame. That it's not a free society. You can't protest just because you want to.
So 28 people now involved in the overthrow or attempted overthrow of the Haitian government. 3 Americans are involved. Apparently emerging as the ringleader, some 61-year-old Haitian who has ties to Florida and kind of was a community organizer, for lack of a better term.
Like Barack Obama.
Yeah, kind of got everybody. He's more like the Clintons in a way. He gets everybody else to do the work, dirty work, and he stands back and then reaps all the benefits and the
Right.
rewards. But apparently, this guy was involved in organizing, or at least this is the theory. He was the one that basically organized the assassination attempt. How do you get into the president's home? That was the first question I had, which tells me there's got to be an inside job somewhere, because
It was a coup.
it's not exactly the Secret Service, but the Haitian president does have armed guards, and I believe the army is responsible for his protection. They've also asked the U.S. for help, by the way.
Yeah, I would help Haiti before I would help Cuba.
But there's got to be some military members that allowed these guys into the presidential palace, for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
to go in and assassinate the guy in his house.
Bobcat Watley says Raul Castro is alive and kicking at the Copacabana. I'm going to put that in your head. His name was Rico. He wore a diamond.
Thanks, Barry.
Was escorted to his chair. He saw Lola dancing.
Oh, I thought you were going electric
Great
chair.
song.
Escorted to his chair. There were wires everywhere. I thought you were taking it to the Cuban communist extreme.
When she finished, he called her over.
Is this going to be the end of Cuba, do you think, as a communist nation, or is this going to be? Are they going to do what China does and quell the masses, and the rest of the world will turn a blind eye?
What else can happen? I mean, why not? Why not let
if the reports are
Tillman
true,
Fertitta buy Cuba and turn it into a big Landry seafood house island? Why not? Everything else in the world is upside down. I mean, couldn't crazier things happen? Elon Musk turns it into a missile launching site. Why not? I've never understood how Cuba survived all these years communist anyway. I think the Russians were sending them food that they were getting from us.
Yeah, and now they've gotten into bed with the Chinese, but
and the Cubans don't like the Chinese.
No, but the communists, they don't trust each other, but they have to have each other's backs. Venezuela, I think, has played a large role in helping prop up Cuba over the years, and now that's gone by the wayside. But
right.
That's how they do it. It's fear. Because those in power and those in the army, they live better than the masses. That's how they keep them loyal to them.
Well, speaking of fear and power and living better than the masses on your private jet with no masks, let's take a quick break and then we'll talk about Texas Democrats. Folks, the Atzenhofer dealership is quite simply Victoria's dealer. Since 1926, Atzenhofer and now Atzenhofer.com have been the places to go in Victoria for a new or gently pre-owned vehicle. Now, back in the day, they weren't all gently pre-owned. People took old beaters in there and traded them in. Now, Atzenhofer only keeps the best of the best on their lot. The rest go off to places like Yoakum. What you have to do is go to Atzenhofer.com. You want a new Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi.
Any brand of pre-owned.
Yep. And they will service all makes and models. They'll do the paint and body on all makes and models.
You need a fleet of vehicles for your business. You need
a bunch of white trucks, a bunch of vans.
A bunch of trucks that, 5-ton and bigger, cube vans. They can do it all.
Whatever you need, go by Atzenhofer. Right there on the Navarro Motor Mile. White Trash Services, 550-1826. BJ Scott, Carl, the team out there. Our buddy Sean Neely. Got lots of friends that work at White Trash Services. White Trash will help you have a trash-tastic day.
Weekly trash collection, whether you need a dumpster, whether you need a roll-off for a bigger project, they've got it all and can handle all your trash collection needs. And now, if you need help with a demolition project, you're renovating and you want somebody to come in and take care of the sledgehammering and the cleanup, they can do that for you as well.
White Trash Services, 550-1826. Razor IT Solutions, JP Hull. Salvaging analytics, protecting data, encrypting data, helping people maintain, like with their QuickBooks account. If you have stuff to sell on the internet via a website, you don't want to compromise people's credit card numbers.
Can help you with all of that.
JP can help you with that. And I shared to the Wade Carter page on Facebook. Feel free to go look. Complete 360 is about to start offering salads and different kinds of bowls. They're expanding. I don't think that I'll ever think of them as a restaurant, but they are a health food store They have some pre-made meals that are all macroed out if you're lifting seriously out on the north side.
Health Bar makes it all fresh.
The Health Bar makes it all fresh, but they're expanding their offerings, and that's all coming in the next couple of weeks. Get by right here next to Woodlawn Bowl. Get you a smoothie. Craig Simpson says, "What up, brothers?" Jim Simpson says, "Good morning, guys."
No relation.
No relation. Simply's in Canada, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, Jimmy's from Ohio. Maybe there is a
Well,
relation.
that is Canada, isn't it?
Pretty much.
In the winter.
Yeah.
Jimmy's an unashamed Ohio State fan. What do you make of the Big Ten? Just a quick aside. It's Rust Belt, right?
Big one.
Right. No, yeah, it's Ohio State.
And nobody else.
And it always kind of has been. You know, Meat Chicken always did certain things from time to time. But, I mean, Michigan
Hasn't been relevant since Desmond Howard. Wisconsin rears its head every once in a while and pretends
Whiskey
that
is
they're going to
always good, though. They're always good. To me, Wisconsin is kind of like they're kind of like nobody. I mean, I'm serious. They're not really contenders, but they're always good. Stanford, maybe Stanford.
Probably good, and the colors are similar.
Yeah, but Michigan has Michigan and Notre Dame have the two greatest and most recognizable fight songs.
Probably.
Hail, hail, Michigan. Blah, 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 da, 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 da,
Yeah.
That's great stuff. That is college football. But Ohio State just
What are we, a month and a half away?
beats them. Yeah, we're like 53 days away, but nobody's counting.
Nobody's counting. Under 30 to the kickoff of the CFL season, too, by the way.
Jim Simpson says Penn State. Yeah, just can't get into Penn State anymore.
Michigan's gonna have some problems with getting past their all the claims of sexual assault and covering things up. They are similar to Penn State and Michigan State.
Well, it gets cold up there in those Big Ten schools.
So it's not an excuse.
That's right.
No excuse for what the Democrat state lawmakers did in Texas either.
Nice segue.
Thank you. Jumping ship, actually jumping on a plane.
An airship.
Yeah, and too bad it wasn't the Hindenburg.
Jim Simpson says Michigan sucks. There you go. He just gets it out there for you.
But they jump on a plane, they fly to Washington, D.C. If this doesn't scare you from another, and this is just my take on this, but
The blue and maize.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris apparently welcoming the Democrat lawmakers into Washington, D.C. on their maskless flight. So while they tell us we all have to wear masks, they can jump on a flight, chartered plane. Curious to see how this all fits into campaign donations and such, because there's no way at $500 a month that they get for their service to the state, and I refuse, I shouldn't call it that, their elected duty. There is no way if they even pooled all their money together, they're getting a chartered plane to take them from Austin to D.C. Just ain't happening.
Right.
As someone who's looked into the cost of that,
I think you're
$500 a person is nowhere near the cost of chartering a plane. Sorry, folks, ain't happening.
Bezos, somebody paid for that for them. What's his name?
Well, they were saying that it was a gift. Somebody else covered the cost of that.
Clinton Foundation.
So let's see where the campaign donations fall on this one.
Yeah, they went to see I like Lafalata.
But here's the problem I have with this. If you want any more proof that Joe Biden does not want the states to have any separation and any power or autonomy, it's the fact that this whole thing, and you're not just, it's not a 1 second deal. Hey, let's walk out and go get a plane to D.C. This took some coordination and some effort for Kamala Harris to be involved.
And the fact that she is involved, to me, is a violation of states' rights. Stay out of our state politics, Kamala.
Which is to the point I'm getting. Joe Biden does not want the states to have power and autonomy that they have as prescribed in the Constitution, and this is proof of it.
You know, the thing is, Ash, if the mainstream media, for example, you pointed out to me something I hadn't thought of. You know, I'm the guy that always
says that in a minute, because I don't think we're done with this. Because if you got I'd like to hear Pete McNally's take on this.
575-9509.
I don't care what party you're in. And maybe if Republicans have done this in the past, I just wasn't aware of it. I didn't have a radio show to blast it. It's wrong. You're elected to represent your constituents. And they say this is over the voting rights bill or whatever it is, which interestingly enough to me is basically just returning to Texas the voting rules that were in place prior to COVID.
Yeah, that's all it is. Good morning,
Wade and Carter. Good. How are you? Hey, Steve. How are you?
Steven. Well, it lets them play the victim, Steve. We know that. The Dems always play the victim. So this is, we're being mistreated. We're being harassed by this governor from, this Republican governor.
Here's the thing. If this game continues, the only way that the Dems will stop doing this is if Governor Abbott takes election reform off the table. So he can't do that. He's got to stick to his guns. If he does, it's just another acquiescence to the Stalinesque tactics of the Democrats and the extreme leftists. There's nothing in this bill that I've seen or been pointed out to me that there was nobody crying before COVID that Texas voter laws were too restrictive.
Right. Nobody ever said that. Oh, now people would say you need to get people registered to vote. Ash and I helped get people registered to vote, provided food and everything else. Remember that?
Yeah.
Now it's like nobody ever said, well, you've got to make it easier for people to vote before COVID. In favor of or thinks it's a non-party deal. Right.
Delaware, the president's home state, is more restrictive than almost any other state in the nation.
How are things in Scranton?
And I heard people were complaining that there was no voting on Sundays. I didn't think voting on Sundays was a thing anyway.
Right. Never has been.
But what do you think, Steve? How do you think this is going to end? Or does it? Is this going to keep going on in perpetuity?
Can you imagine? I'm not being silly, but I'm not even sure it should be legal to have all those representatives, no matter their party. No humor here. They shouldn't all be on the same plane anyway. I mean, yeah. No. At least sometimes I'm trying to be funny.
Are they violating an open meetings law?
Yeah. Not to mention. Yeah, what would be the if all those people were on one airplane and there was a device on it that caused it to not make it back to Texas, the tragedy would be that there was an empty seat? Is that the thought? I mean, I don't know. It would be horrific if something happened to them en masse. That would be bad. So, you see, but they should take it too. You see Abbott out there with a surface-to-air missile, firing one over there.
But yeah,
take care.
Didn't they do this already once before? Didn't they do this towards the end of the regular session? They left. Yeah, they just left in a bus. So they've upped their game now.
I think they went to Coshada and used the teacher retirement fund and bet it all on red. I got a better deal for you than doing that.
What's that?
Reach out to 541-5454. Let Terry Murray at Motto Mortgage guaranteed save you money.
Yeah, there's no gamble there. You don't have to hope you win.
You're not gambling. If she doesn't save you money, don't do the deal. It's pretty simple. But she will. Interest rates are at historic lows. So
refinance, new purchase, FHA, VA. If you're first-time home buyer or a veteran who served this country, she can help you.
Absolutely. Wind services, wind generators, electrical, plumbing, solar panels. If it charges your home, if it helps your life be easier, reach out to Wind Services. They can do these things for you. They do them every day. They've got it down. USA Concrete Coating, same thing. One day, come in, clean, seal the cracks in your garage floor, put down a polyurethane coat that you can drive on. All that in one day. Patios, porches, pool decks, they do it all. And then the Gray Barn, 920-6803. Reach out to Cheryl for your next party, event, wedding, quinceañera. She can make it memorable. You give her the idea, tell her what you want it to look like. She'll make it look just like that.
And within your budget.
Don't forget Charlie Garcia is 578 home. Dr. Missy Van Klimenchuk says, sarcasm, yes. Humor, no. Sarcasm can be funny, right? But sarcasm is not humor. Sarcasm is becoming a lost art because it's usually thought-provoking, and that means it's usually controversial.
Well, and inflection.
You can be racist or
inflection
sexist.
Usually helps. The internet is not good for sarcasm. And don't forget, now that the weather's nicer, get over to AJ's Detailing. You put a nice G-Wagon on the internet, on our Facebook page that he detailed up.
Oh, yeah, he does amazing work. AJ's Detailing is unbelievable. Go to AJ's Detailing on Facebook and find his cell number. Don Posey says, I know you guys don't like promoting yourselves. Oh, if you missed a few shows, I do it. I'm always bragging about it.
Montana?
No, but Judge Posey says, I know you guys don't like promoting yourselves, but congratulations to Ash on his appointment as president of the NAIA ADA. So that's the Athletic Directors Association. You're the new president. Elected. Are you going to be czar-like? Are you going to reign with an iron fist?
No, I had a meeting yesterday.
Do you have control of the pension?
I had a meeting yesterday already and told them all where they will be and how they will fall in line, and this is how it's going to be.
Right. Do you control the pension? It's like a big union.
No, there's no pension. I don't even get a gavel.
No, you will when you're done. When you're done, they give you the gavel. Ask Judge Posey. They give you the gavel when you're done with your dates on it.
So I'm looking forward to serve the ADs. We've the last couple. I've been involved on the board the last few years, and we've forged a stronger partnership with NACDA, which is the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics. They're involved at all levels, from JUCO to Division I, the big Power Fives.
Did we ever mention that Texas won the Directors Cup this year?
Saw that yesterday. Yeah,
pretty
first
impressive.
time ever, right?
Yeah.
Stanford had won it forever, but Stanford didn't play anything this year, so that's why.
Part of Stanford's advantage is it's not limited like to the top 10 sports. No. Stanford plays
everything.
They play like 30 varsity sports, and you get certain points for where you place. And it would be as if UHV had curling. You'd be the only one, so you get the 5 points for the championship.
I don't think you do.
No,
they have to be recognized sports. Judge Posey bring hockey to the conference.
Thanks for bringing that up, Judge. James Kerr says, I couldn't even put the brigade command and the brigade sergeant major in the same helicopter. James Kerr had some flashbacks here.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to do that to you, James.
But serious question. Should they be forced to give up their seats since they basically just abdicated their responsibility to their districts by running away from the legislature and the process?
Well, I get the grandstanding. I'll go with Pete Montana that it's showmanship, but isn't it irresponsible to the state of Texas? I mean, aren't you being a little childish? Neener, we're not going to vote. We're all going to go to D.C.
Yeah.
I mean, don't some of those guys on a – can you imagine Jimmy Morrison just getting on a plane and going to D.C.? I mean, don't some of them have jobs, things to do?
I don't know. Makes you wonder how you make it on $500 a month. Some way some of these folks manage to, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel that they've given up on their district and their constituents, and they need to go.
Yeah,
and they've certainly given up on the state of Texas.
They should all be replaced with Republicans. Then we can get some things done in this state.
So,
I was excited for Texas to win the Directors' Cup.
John Davis says they didn't even have their beer ice down.
Right? They're kind of a perennial top 10. They're always in and amongst it. But they won 3 national championships this year and a bunch of conference championships. They just didn't beat Oklahoma.
Nope.
I would trade them all for a national championship again in football. For Sure. But they dominate. I mean, for what it's
So
worth.
would Stanford. As much as Stanford loves the Directors
Oh,
Cup,
yeah.
the Learfield Directors Cup, they'd trade it all for a
Oh,
national championship.
Absolutely. But, they win in swimming, men's and women's tennis. Volleyball goes to the finals.
Here's a report from Politico that some of the Texas lawmakers flew to Washington, D.C. to meet with members of Congress to urge them to pass federal voting rights legislation. Once again, no clue as to how our Constitution works and how voting rules are portioned out in the Constitution, that they're a state issue.
Right.
No clue, folks. No clue.
Give a shout out to T-Lat. Good morning, T-Lat. Hope you're doing good, baby. John Davis says marbles. What do you got from Kelly?
I think this session was supposed to last until August 7th. They're going to stay out until then. So if they're not there, can anything? Serious question. Can other law, if they're not there for the voting rights, can they go and pass other? Can't they just do what Washington D.C. does and throw the voting rights into another bill like they do and pork it in and sneak it past everybody like Congress does? Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Right. Scott Tomko says, look what they did to Ted Cruz when he left during the freeze. Of course, a little different because they were out of session at that point.
And they weren't called to a special session to finish up the work that didn't get done during the regular legislative session. Ted Cruz didn't really abdicate his responsibility as voters. He's not a good look, but he was only doing what a lot of people would have done, got out of the cold.
He was tired, man. They're just people too. Kelly Frommy says, hey, do you have any listeners who have a Democrat state rep? I'd like to know how they feel. If you are in our listening realm and happen to have a Democrat state rep,
give us a call.
Please.
Let us know how you feel.
We're not judging you.
Call,
we're not judging you at all. 361-575-9509. Like to know what your friends and neighbors are saying about old Bill who just got on the plane and left.
Or Chris Turner, State House Democrat caucus leader.
Right.
He's the chair of that body. David Glass says he need a quorum to vote on anything. There you go. So yeah.
David Glass bringing value, coming in.
I figured that was the case, but
talking smart on a Tuesday.
Way too smart for a Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday's not our best day usually. It's usually a slow news day. What did you have about the city of Victoria?
Well, the city is looking for feedback on how to implement basically citywide internet.
There you go. There's your feedback. Do it. Use part of that $14.5 million and do it.
And I think isn't that what somebody was on here that said that money would be going to that. I think
was it Jesus Garza was part of that?
No, I think it was after.
That's the guy that needs to say it.
But I think I'm not sure this work needs to get done with a consultant and all that. We saw the shortcomings of broadband internet in this community when students in our schools were forced to stay home and they couldn't get on the internet.
Right.
We know where the internet shortcomings are based on that. Get with VISD, talk to them, find out where kids were having connectivity issues, and start there.
Well, like I said, when you decide to start there, then make the first place you implement it the south side of Victoria. Come right up through downtown. Now all the special interest groups are happy.
And Riverside Park, so everybody walking their
Riverside
dog.
Park by the duck pond.
Yeah.
And then the rest of us who get things done can actually have internet service. I don't think in this age, free citywide connectivity is that big a deal. I don't. I don't think it's like, oh, wow.
There's a cost of buying the bandwidth you need and all that. There's some things that even I don't understand. JP Hall would probably be a good one to have.
JP would be good to have on to talk about.
James Kerr says internet shortcomings were global when everyone was sent home. Bandwidth went to the crawl. It did, but there were issues, particularly in low-income areas of Victoria, that don't have internet at home, don't have cell phones with unlimited data.
Kelly,
but I think that's where you start.
Is the lane internet to blame for the star failures? The STAR test is really a weird animal.
No, that's what happens when you get to, unfortunately, in my opinion, standardized testing.
Scott Tongo says, "Don't bring up the duck pond." Well, here's the problem: we have this
I
no
only
kid
want
left
internet there if
behind
it can be
deal.
underwater. I want to be able to dive into that duck pond for all the balls that'll be shanked to the right off Riverside, so that I can go supplement my income by selling them back to golfers. But I need internet down there for GPS so I can find the surface.
Jennifer Rayburn says that Dwayne Crocker advocated broadband.
As infrastructure with those
Yeah.
dollars. Thank you.
Thank you, and hats off to Dwayne for that. HR Mallory said
8
something-
candidates, it was hard to keep them all straight.
What did HR say down there about Steve Kidder?
Steve Kidder, yes, they introduced it during COVID, but the big question is, can an elections office decide the timing and manner of voting for their individual counties, or does that power lie with the legislature? And I don't know, did Steve say something up here?
I don't know, but HR didn't write that. Lindsay's hacked into his Facebook account, and she wrote that. Every one of those words is in the right place. The punctuation's correct. HR Mallory didn't write that.
Frank Mejia says he's got bad service. He couldn't open up his MySpace last night.
Yeah. Frank, how about those Yankees? Astros walk-off. Yeah, HR, you don't think.
I'm curious if any city or entity is going to be brave enough to say, you know what? We refuse your COVID money. I don't believe in this. We don't want it. Take it back.
No, nobody's going to say that. Nobody's going to say that.
Some small town that isn't getting it.
You're
not going to take your COVID money.
No, we ain't going to take it.
Small print, we're not getting any COVID money.
Right, we're not getting any.
I don't know. I like my idea. Take the combined money from the city and county. Let's build a 4,000 seat state arena in this town that you can add another 1,000, 1,500 seats on the floor for a concert. You could rodeo. You could have trade shows. You could have concerts. You could have
curlings.
Ice capades. Minor or junior hockey team could come to town. All sorts of things. The one thing that's been missing in a community this size that is pretty much in every other community this size that I've ever traveled to, even some smaller. Dodge City has a 4,000 seat arena. Dodge City has about 20,000 people in it.
Is that where they have the
gunfights? Yes. And the place is busy and packed, except when there's COVID.
It's kind of like wrestling. You go and Marshall Dillon shoots the guy in the matinee. He shoots the same guy again.
That's my suggestion for the plan with that money. Because that'd be what, 31 million, I think, right? Between the two entities or something like that.
That's something. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Put a big dent in a big time arena and convention center. Folks, if you think that our community center is not
adequate for a city this size,
way inadequate. And what it is it's not, you just don't see the events that we just can't host. That's the deal. There's things that we just can't do because people won't come to a venue that size.
And now that we've got United Express flying into town, it's a whole lot more convenient and easier to fly into town out of Houston. We're not going to get, let's be honest, we're not going to get the NACDA convention in Victoria, but there's a lot of conventions that go to cities this size that we could easily be getting, but we just lack the facilities. The hotel rooms are here now.
Pandemic Arena. We can name it after the source of the funds.
Biden? The Joe Biden Arena.
Here, Joe Biden Arena.
That might get defaced.
Yeah.
But think about it, like an American Bank Center in Corpus, but a little bit smaller, or the Cedar Park place in Cedar Park. We're big in Louisiana. We're big in Cabo this morning. Jeremy Pena's checking in from Louisiana.
Thank you,
Good morning, JP. All-Star game tonight, American League, National League. Who wins it? Being played in Coors Field.
American League. America wins.
But residents can visit www.victoriatx.gov/broadband to take the survey on that. So just wanted to kind of close that loop, give you an opportunity. There'll also be a workshop at the Victoria Community Center Annex. Here's your opportunity to see just how bad our community center is.
Oh, it's terrible. So
go there on July 21st from 5 to 6 and take part in the workshop that will be
What kind of
hosted by the
feedback
city.
do you think the city's going to get when you have to use internet to go in and give their people? This is going to be a savvy group that says, yes, we want the internet.
Yeah, well, they're not going to hear from those that can't get on the internet, I guess, right?
Yeah, I would love to see you still have the college auditorium. It's still a very nice building, but it's not a place to have concerts and all
They
that.
tore that down a few years ago.
Yeah. What about the one that's over here though? It's not the college, I don't guess. The one that's over here.
Victoria Fine Arts
Yeah,
Center.
that's what I meant. It's nice, but it's little.
Small.
Yeah.
Leo J.
Small.
Welder, small, under 500.
Yeah. It's a great place to see small acts, but if you want to ever, get up there, not to mention multi-sports and I'm convinced we can get a temporary ice rink. Get the curling.
I think if you build it, you got to put ice making capabilities
Why
in
wouldn't
there
you?
because
Be
otherwise,
awesome.
because then you get, the ice capades, the figure skating tours that come around that are always popular and sell out everywhere. Disney on ice, Sesame Street
At
on
that
ice.
point,
all
you
that
are
sort of stuff.
inviting people from the surrounding communities with some authority. You're not going to get people from Hallettsville, Cuero, and all that to come to our community center, but they would come to an arena to watch.
Yeah, because otherwise they're
Quality
going to
entertainment.
Houston for the exact same show
Exactly.
2 days later.
Exactly.
H.R. Mallory says, disappointing to see elected legislators, lawmakers continue to cede power to the executive branch or just ignore laws because it's convenient. I'll take it a step further, H.R. I think it's because it's for re-electability. They don't want to have to make the tough decisions. They don't want to have to tackle subjects that might be controversial. So let's just kick the can down the road and let somebody else take advantage of it or take it on. That way we can just act like we're doing something when we're really doing nothing. We can somehow spin it to tout our record on that topic, that they weren't against it, and that they were able to work with the federal government to get something done on something that they should have taken the stand on and the lead on. It's all about re-electability and long-term ability to lobby and make money off of their contacts that they've made at the government level.
And the Democrats always stick together. Even when they're wrong, they will all go off together. Patrick Strauss says, when is Allen West going to be on? Interesting story. Ash has a contact with a guy who was Allen West, like chief of communications at the
and we're supposed to connect
GOP.
this morning to reschedule.
And this guy, we don't know now if Allen West has a new media guy now that he's running for governor. We don't know if Allen's still in Alaska. We don't know.
Hopefully we'll get him on this week. That's my goal.
That's our goal.
Yeah. So I think that's what I think it is, to be honest. HR is they're not leaders. The ones that do this aren't leaders. They're more concerned about being reelected than actually taking a stand on a subject that might be controversial, which to me was what a leader does. So that's my
Adam Sugar says, if y'all's curling joke results in a curling ring, oh my goodness. Chris Conrad says, Victoria War Memorial Arena has a nice ring to it. Yep.
I agree. Someone would be offended at a war memorial.
Oh, yeah. Pete Montana says, have a nice day. Have a fab day. Pete, you too, sir. And
John Davis, safe travels today, sir.
And we're going to be out of here.
We are.
The
Hall of Famers in. Brother Gary will be here momentarily.
Gary Moses and the Hall of Famer Ralph Salazar.
Appreciate the call, Steve Kidder.
Folks, thanks, Steven. You're awesome. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you mañana.
Bye, folks.
The Wade and Carter Show is a paid programming and paid.
It's a heavy show for a Tuesday.
Assumes no responsibility.
Right?
And now my computer's jacking up. There it is.
Please drive safely.
And I didn't get to my Kamala Harris
Was there a rant?
rant on what her effect on the border had.
Yeah, the media has disappeared on him. You didn't like Kama Lafalata?
No, it was good. Camomuffalata.
Right. But she's got a big butt.